I just finished the full admin panel video for, of course, the new pain fruit. Well, not the new pain fruit, the new reworked pain fruit. But I'm going to be doing a quick little showcase on it. Now, for the showcase, I think I'm just going to opt to using the dummy. The pain meter, basically, this guy can't hit me. This guy can't even hit me. So we have the regular M1. Now, it kind of has, it's interesting. It has kind of like this uppercut to it. I think you'll be able to combo into it midair. So you could probably like do something like this if you do it correctly. But it looks like it has a lot of combo potential if you do land it. And then we're gonna do a regular Ztap. Now, if you have unlocked the Ztap from the second admin panel ability, you're gonna notice that it creates extra ghosts that heat seek the target. It doesn't do a lot of damage though. I just noticed that it doesn't seem to do a lot of damage. It looks like all the damage comes from the heat seeking, but this move in particular doesn't feel very strong. It doesn't have a very huge hitbox either. It's just kind of what you get. You know, you get these extra heat seeking things and some extra, you know, some ghosts for your fury meter. However, if you hold it, you get something a lot more powerful. And that's an understatement. That does way more damage. Damn! What? Oh, I didn't think it did that much damage. I thought it was like... Excuse me? Is that how much damage it does in PvP too? I don't even have Pale Scarf on. Wait, is that actually... What? He's dead before I even finish the rest of it. To be fair though, this move is probably not the easiest to hit in PvP. That doesn't seem like the easiest to hit in PvP. Next move we have is Rage Release. It has 2 modes, so you just have basic grab. You know, you just hit him with a boom boom, you know, 2-shot combo, and then you just kind of hit him with a little palm strike. I see that being good in combos particularly. Yeah, that has some follow-up potential. Maybe you can go in with like Gravity Cane or Dough Trident after that one. But it also has another version. It has Rage Release. I think this one gives you a little bit more control over the battlefield. If you hold it down, you know, you can kind of like choose to send him over there. I could do this, put him right below me, and start a combo right there. I don't know if the knockback is going to mess with it too much, but I think people will be able to find a way to get good combos off of that. It might be able to hit other opponents. Oh, the range is not that big as well. And next we're moving on to Agony Nuke. This one has 2 different forms. So first we have this one. It's kind of like the original Pain before it got reworked. You know, you send a tiny projectile and it turns into a big explosion. It seems to stun them. It seems to like pull them into the center for a little bit. And I think you might be able to combo off of that if I'm not mistaken. So let me just try that again real quick. So Agony Nuke. It stuns them in the center and then it pushes them out. I could probably do this and then just use... Yeah, if I'm fast enough, I could just chain it with Sharkman Karate as well. Nice effects. But yep, it attacks a lot of them at once, which is nice. Agony Nuke has another ability. So if you unlock the last ability in the admin panel, you'll basically, if you hold it down for like 2 seconds, you'll get access to this. That right there, that's a freaking crazy beam. Now, one thing to know is that there's 2 stages to it when you're charging. You know, the original where you shoot the nuke, and then there's the beam, and then there's another version of the beam. So if you charge it just a little bit right there, you'll get like a smaller, more weaker beam, but it comes out more quicker. Oh no, wait, I was wrong. The range does not increase. It looks like it's just the AoE, the beam, and the damage. Okay, that's interesting. I thought the range would be more farther. It looked like more range because the beam was bigger, but I was wrong about that. And then we have the ghost mechanic. So the ghost mechanic is pretty interesting. So the ghost mechanic can be used offensively, defensively, and also it can be used for your torment warp as well as your pain meter and stuff like that. So Basically, after every attack you use, you kind of leave behind a ghost. And if the enemies are near to this ghost, it'll actually home onto them and deal damage. Not a lot of damage. I don't really know how useful that is. But the most useful aspect is using it to lower your cooldown and to get more in your pain meter. So you have a way to increase your pain meter without necessarily taking damage. There we go. All right, pain ghost right there, and it just locks onto them. I don't think that mechanic is extremely useful for fighting, but I think it's really good for the purpose of getting your pain meter up. So there's that. And then we're moving on to the next one. So Torment Warp. This one is the only move that actually like works in tandem with the ghosts. So basically it has two versions. You have a basic teleport. It looks pretty regular, but it actually serves a good purpose. So if you spread a lot of ghosts around on the battlefield, you kind of create like a little area where you can basically teleport everywhere. So basically each time you collect a ghost while your Torment Warp is on cooldown, it basically instantly restores it. Like no matter what, as long as you get a ghost, it just restores it immediately. So you can spread these like around the battlefield completely. And it's like you can create kind of like a little minefield with the ghost. And basically, as long as you have ghosts, you can keep teleporting, which technically would give you a bigger potential amount of teleports than lightning would normally give you, just depending on what it is. But you can basically create like an entire minefield full of these things, and you can just have, you can basically have some crazy like setup to teleport. So I guess if you're in PvP, you could probably just throw a few down if you have time, and then just kind of like just do this. Just create like some good evasion, you know. It's a little bit more limited compared to lightning, but it still gives you the option. Like you can still like totally like set up like a little battlefield full of this stuff. I don't think it's super effective, but it is an option. And then we move on to the second part of Torment Warp. It's the drop kick. You can aim it pretty well. It also leaves behind ghosts, so there's that too. So you can kind of like do this. It flies at first in whatever initial direction you go into. So, you know, if I could do this and then go there, you got to react pretty fast though. So I could like do this. Like if you have like crazy mouse control, you could pull off like some crazy plays with this, I think. I think you could pull off some crazy plays with this, just depending on how fast your reaction is. Like if you have someone over here and like they're just trying to go around, you could just like, you can kind of just like psych them out. Collecting a ghost, you can get the cooldown of Torment Warp back really fast. So you'll always have like this drop kick ability available, as well as the teleport. You'll always have that teleport ability available. So even after drop kick, you can just get that back instantly. And now we're moving on to Torture. Now it has, I wouldn't say two modes, but it gets more powerful depending on what you do. So if we do Torturing Pulse here, I think that bugged. I don't think that's supposed to be there, but it lets me get a good close-up of the projectile. This is the projectile that you fire whenever you use it. It looks pretty dang sick. I'm not even gonna lie. I really like that. It works pretty similar to Old Pain. And it is a little slow, but it does a pretty good amount of damage. And it also has a good amount of stun. It has the same combo potential as the old version of Pain. So this V skill has the same exact, you know, potential as Old Pain. So like I could like, let's see. Let's say you want to, you know, maybe do some crazy play like, ooh, boom, do this, and then do that. And then we have the next version of it. It's not really like a version of it, but it's basically if you just charge it. By the way, your F and Z skills are going to be like really good ways to get your meter up, because like those two moves just have really low cooldown, especially Torment Warp if you collect a ghost. So you always have a pain meter on ready if you just put some time. But if you do this with a full meter, just beam. And it carries them along with them. I don't know how much more extra damage it does, but I know it takes more than one enemy. All right, let's just go ahead and do this. So if I just do this, it carries them along and goes nowhere. Oh my goodness. It seems like it does more damage. Yeah, it definitely does do more damage because it does initial damage at the beginning and then it also does more there. So it seems to be better. And now we get, that's not even it though. There's more to this. So if you die in PvE or PvP, You're gonna get sent into, you know, I will not let you destroy my world. You know, I hate that Cavender has that dash on it, bro. Oh my gosh. Basically, if you reach 0 HP, you get this crazy transformation state. You become more faster. Your dashes are improved. Your flash steps are the same. You get better sky jumps. You jump a lot higher. Your moves stay the same, though. Here's the difference, though. You can't switch to other moves or fruits while you're in this. You can only use pain as soon as you get into this state. But it deals so much more damage. Like, dude, it's insane how much more damage you do with this. Like, bro, you become, like, absolutely nuts. Like, dude, this M1 here just becomes super powerful. And your ghosts turn different. Your ghosts turn, like, you get, like, kind of like a red glowing face added to them. There we go. We're back here. And as you can see, they look a little bit more different now. And I think they turn more aggressive. Also, the cooldowns become, like, really, really low. And the ghosts get a bigger range. So the ghosts become a little bit more useful with this. Absorbing them from your pain meter, it doesn't really do anything, it seems. But the ghosts, they're much more aggressive. You get way lower cooldowns. And also, when it starts to get low, your walking speed decreases. And also, your aura goes down a little bit. But that's pretty much it for, like, the full, like, a full detailed pain showcase. This is a really good fruit. I'm actually really liking this rework. I think I like it better than the lightning rework.